Good morning, faithful listeners. Welcome to the Colonel and Mr. Bigg podcast number 29. Man, we're racking it up, Colonel. Man, they just keep flying in here, and it's amazing how many we've done. I'm going to talk about this later, but Penny's her latest project. She's building an ark in the garage. We've had so much rain down here that we thought we probably better build an ark. So she's in the garage building an ark. But seriously, how's your week been?
It's been good. You have an ark, and we need some rain dancers or something. We need rain up here. We've had a little bit, but we're dry, very dry. I've seen some of your flooding. It looks bad.
Yeah, we've been talking about as we drive around the country how great the corn and soybeans look. I mean, they look fantastic, and then we get all this rain, and who knows how much they'll lose. I'm sure they'll probably lose some. I don't know if that. I don't know anything about farming, so I don't know if the corn and soybeans are fully growing. What that water does to the root system or not, I have no idea what that. I'm sure it does affect it, but
yeah, hopefully it doesn't rot anything.
Yeah, it's true. I hope not, but well, let's get started this week with our favorite sponsor, Healthy Prelude.
Healthy Prelude, healthyprelude.com. Anna Smart, located outside of Elroy. I never have anything written up for this one, Tommy, but I just want to talk. Jill and I were up there this past week for massages, and Anna's in her new building, and it looks wonderful. It's not completely done yet. She still has little things to do, but it's a great facility. She's got all of her product up there. And speaking of her product, check it out at thisshitsthebalm.com or healthyprelude.com. Anna is not taking any new clients, but she has a partner up there, Ryan, who is looking and taking new clients. So you could check out online or give her a call and get in with Ryan. But her place looks absolutely fantastic. She had a fire about 1.5 years ago that burnt her place down, and she's rebuilt. And she's doing excellent stuff up there. And again, she will take new clients as far as Ryan, not Anna herself. And then her product, which we use her sunscreen, her magnesium balm, and many other things. Jill bought some lotion up there, and just check it out at thisshitsthebalm.com or healthyprelude.com. And I know, Tommy, you used to go up to see her years and years ago. I think you finally found somebody down your way that's similar to what Anna does, but she's the best. She is absolutely the best.
Without question. Real quick, Friday night, we were sitting watching TV, and I got a cramp, a Charlie horse in my right upper thigh. It was just, it was killing me. I didn't think I was going to make it. It was just ridiculous. And Penny, I told her to get this Whoa Charlie, and I went in the bedroom, pulled my pants down. Of course, my little granddaughter was here, and she come running in while I have my pants pulled down, and I'm rubbing that Whoa Charlie. I'm like, Papa, you okay, Papa? Anyway, probably, I don't know, 10 minutes later, that thing just quit hurting, and I haven't had it since. And then last night, Penny's got restless leg syndrome in the evening. About 9 o'clock, man, her legs just start aching. And even though she's lost all this weight, her legs still bother her. So she went in the bedroom and rolled the magnesium roll-on both her legs and came back. And about 10, 15 minutes later, she said they stopped hurting, not as bad. And so the product works. The product with CBD in it definitely works and helps those things, those aches and pains. And we're about ready to order some more. But yeah, check it out. Thisshitsthebalm.com. Yeah.
Yeah, Jill was having trouble sleeping, and she put some magnesium roll-on her feet, the bottom of her feet, and helped out tremendously.
I do that. I work a couple days a week at the hotel, and I don't know why I still do it, but to get cheap rooms, I guess. But I usually work about 6 hours, and before I go, I wear compression stockings when I work. I rub magnesium roll-on my lower knee down to all the way to the bottom of my feet, and then put those stockings on. And so far, knock on wood, I've never had a problem with my legs. So product does work. She's a great lady, and glad to hear she's in her new building, and order some products to help support that new building. Bike Trail Sports, let's get started here. We're going to talk some MLB, Major League Baseball. I was flipping channels and saw the Miz pitching against the Dodgers last night and watched 2 or 3 innings of that, and the kid's just awesome. The kid is unbelievable, and he had only given up 2 hits. He gave up 3 singles in a row, bases loaded with only 1 out, and he struck out the side. So I mean, the kid is just unbelievable. But you want to talk a little bit about the Brewers?
Yeah, I knew this road trip would be tough, and they got swept by the Padres. And they've taken 2 of 3 so far. The fourth game today against the Dodgers. Hopefully, they can win. They've lost some ground to the Cubs. They're still up by 4. Still the best record in the majors. They're 5-5 in their last 10, and a few injuries. Uribe's down, and Terang's nursing an injury, but they'll hopefully get those guys back soon. And Frelick is down at Nashville in AAA. Just looking at the playoff percentages, the Brewers again are at 99.9% chance of making the playoffs, along with many other teams. You know, the Yankees. Your Yankees are at 98.9, but they're playing well. They just got to get through this series. I think they've got like 10 games left with the Cubs, so that's going to be interesting and a lot of fun. One thing I wanted to mention, Tommy, I don't know if you saw it yesterday, that Joshua Baez for the Cardinals made his debut. First time in history, 3 home runs by a major league player in his debut. He hit 3 home runs against the Cubs yesterday. So, congratulations to Joshua Baez.
Yeah,
So,
I saw that.
how are your Yankees doing?
They suck. Yankees suck. They're 5-5 in the last 10 games. They've averaged 2.8 runs. 8 of those 10 games, they've scored less than 3 runs. You're not going to win any ball games doing that. They're 7 games out behind the Rays. Luckily, the Red Sox have gone on a losing streak here, and they're 9.5 out. So the Yankees still have a lead in the wild card, a big lead in the wild card. They're definitely going to make the playoffs. But exciting news: Judge this week started doing some light running and playing catch in the outfield, and the Yankees are 32-31 in his absence. When he's not in the lineup, it just affects. Because Rice doesn't get any pitches because Judge isn't in the lineup. Ballinger's out, who's another hitter. Stanton, I don't know what. They need to get rid of him. And then Jazz Chisholm, who's in his last year of a contract. He signed a 1-year contract. They tendered his offer this year, and he's got to be gone. He got a single the other night, their first hit of the game, and then got picked off of first base. Unbelievable. Just, and then he made a bonehead play, and it just it's things like that. They just don't no attention to detail. They don't like last night. I was watching part of it, and then I got pissed and turned it. But Toronto had, Toronto had. Let's see, they had first and second with 1 out, so they're going to bunt. So this new guy, Luis Garcia Jr., first baseman, he played up on the bunt, but not way up. And the guy bunted right to him, and he wasn't quick enough to get up there, and the guy got on, and then they scored 2 runs after that. But just the little things like that. They will make the playoffs. The only good thing, they got pitching. Garrett Cole's coming on, and then Hendricks, who's one of the relievers, is pitching really well. So we'll see. I don't look for him to go very far. Every year I want Boone and the general manager fired, but I don't know. Maybe this will be the year that happens. But they make so damn much money, and that they
don't care.
sometimes I think they really don't care as long as they have a good season and go into playoffs a couple playoff rounds deep. Then they really don't care. But yeah, I'm upset with them right now. It's kind of ironic. This weather we've been having, the wind the other night was blowing 70 miles an hour, and woke up the next morning and my Yankee flag out in the front yard was just shredded completely to shreds. I told Penny, I said, that's not a good sign right there.
Yeah.
That Yankee flag is shredded. But yeah, we'll see. The Brewers are doing well. They'll be definitely in the playoffs. The Yankees will be in the playoffs, but I don't know how long they'll last. We'll see what happens. But it's exciting time of the year as we get into a lot of those rivalry series and things like that. So I see they just played the Blue Jays, and then they play the Orioles 3 games, then they play the Blue Jays 4 games back in New York. So we'll see what happens there. I want to talk a little bit about the state of amateur football. Of course, you hear about this NIL and all this stuff's going on now. And I read an article the other day where there's this high school in San Clemente, California, that is a well-known high school for football, is building residential dorms on their high school campus in order to attract athletes, not only football, but other athletes, so that their parents don't have to move, but they can come and live there. And I don't know where this thing's going. I mean, Indiana's now paying amateur travel teams can pay their athletes in high school, and it's just and the more you read about this NIL with college football starting up, it's just Luckily, the games are still very competitive. I love college football, and it's exciting to watch. And when the game's going on, you don't really realize about, how much money's being spent and all that because the games are usually pretty competitive. But it's just ridiculous now that it's getting into high school sports, and who
Mm-hmm.
knows what's going to happen. I mean, Congress doesn't seem to have anything to be able to do with it. The
Mm-mm.
NCAA is in shambles, and I almost think they just need some governing body to come in and run the NCAA and just take that thing over. But more power to the kids. They're making more money now than they ever made, but it's kind of crazy that the thing it is. I was kind of flipping channels last night, and the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame banquet was on. And Mark Few, the coach of Gonzaga, been there 37 years, was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And during his speech, he was talking about his longevity there and the fact that they do pay NIL, but not a lot. And the fact that he recruits overseas and gets players over there, and he just goes by the success of his program, how many players he's had in the NBA, and how many times they've won their conference, and how many times they've been in NCAA. And it's refreshing to hear stories like that, where
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're spending some NIL money, but they're not spending the millions that these other big schools are spending. And I don't know where it's going to end. I just we're getting ready for Purdue season to start. Purdue will probably win one game this year. They say they spent more NIL money this year than they ever did, and I don't know one player they got that is any good. I mean, it's just crazy. Whereas you look at, Alabama and Georgia and Miami and Florida and those guys and how much they've spent to get people, it's just crazy. But we'll see. College starts the 29th of August, which is only, 11 days away. We start college
Yeah.
football season. So,
I predict Fickle will be gone after this year, and
yeah, I
because
think you're probably right.
they're not going to go 500. Notre Dame's going to crush them up at Lambeau, and it's going to be downhill from there.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of football, NFL started preseason. Don't mean anything, but the Colts, it's crazy. It was 13-7. They came back and tied the Patriots, which don't mean nothing. But I guess Anthony Richardson looked pretty decent in his start, but that don't mean anything. He's still no good. So we'll see. And I see the Packers got crushed too. But
Yeah, three field goals. And my other prediction, and again, preseason doesn't mean anything, but you'd think score.
yeah,
I think LaFleur's done after this year.
I
I think
think
he's
so.
done.
Yeah, yeah. I think our Colts coach might be gone. If they don't make the playoffs, he's definitely gone. And if they get beat the first round, he may be gone. Another note in the NFL, I saw that the Chicago Bears had a news conference, and they announced that they will not lose the Bears name when they move to Hammond, Indiana. That Hammond, Indiana is the only place that has offered them a stadium. The city of Chicago, who they said has spent either 6 billion or 60 billion on illegal immigrants, will not provide the Bears with a stadium, which don't make a lot of sense.
I'm sure it's 60 billion.
It could be, but yeah, they are forging ahead with Hammond, Indiana, and that thing looks like it may become a reality. Which, I mean, Hammond's only 3 miles, off the Illinois border, and it might as well be considered greater Chicago area. But I thought that was very interesting that Warren, the president of the Bears, came on and said, we will keep the Bears name, but if we move to Indiana, and I hope they still become the Chicago. I mean, they're going to keep the Chicago Bears. They're not going to call the Indiana Bears, which I hope is true. But we'll see what happens there. I know Hammond's offered them a lot of money. State of Indiana's offered them a lot of money, and the renderings of the stadium looks fantastic. But we'll see what happens. That'll be interesting.
Well, they're talking, speaking of losing the Bears, there's some African-American lady down there that I guess is running against the mayor, and she seems to have her head on straight. I mean, how can people, and I'm sure they've cheated to get back in, but how can people justify spending $60 billion on illegals and then losing your football team? It just doesn't make any sense.
No, which your
And
locals support, your local people, your people that pays all the tax
yeah,
money in is not. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's
yeah.
a little local sports update. Football started a week ago Saturday. Our new football coach had what he called a media day, and he had the young kids playing flag football. And then kindergarten through fifth grade, fifth grade played flag football, and the middle school had their scrimmage, and then the high school had their scrimmage. unbelievable day. There probably was between 1,200 and 1,500 people there. We opened concessions, and it was like a Friday night football game. It was amazing the amount of business we did. And then yesterday, we had a scrimmage scheduled for Friday night. The rain washed it out. They scheduled it for 11 o'clock yesterday. It rained until about 11:30, and they scheduled it at 12, and they finally got it in yesterday. So we're off and running. High school football season starts a week next Friday, actually, as Hamilton Heights will be at Lapel, and we'll see. I found it amazing after the game. The coaches put the football team, they go to the end zone and talk about the game, I guess, and stuff. And you look down. I happened to be up in the press box because I had to set up the hospitality room up there yesterday. But you look down, and the football team, there's about 48 football players and 19 coaches.
You've got more coaches than we have players.
Yeah, I told the AD, I said, look at that down there. It looks like there's more coaches than there are, but a majority of those are volunteer, and that just shows how good a coach we have, because a lot of the coaches that he's coached with wants to come and help him be successful, and and nowadays high school football is, like I said before, is getting to be as popular and as college football, and you got a coach for every position, every scenario there is. So it's the way it goes. But looking forward to a good year this week. Soccer, girls soccer, boys soccer, and volleyball starts, and then football starts next Friday. So getting into the exciting part of the year.
Yeah, we've got volleyball. First practice is tomorrow for the Royal High School girls team. And then this past Friday, new head coach Roland Lehman, who coaches the freshman basketball team. Roland actually took over for Josh Board for the football season this year as Josh moves to head coach of the basketball team. So on this past Friday, Royal hosted a scrimmage with Mauston, Riverdale, and Viroqua. I haven't seen any results or stats or anything, if they keep any, but both seasons are underway.
Getting our next sponsor here, Erica's Place, located at 40 West Jackson Street in Cicero, Indiana, and 654 Logan Street in Noblesville. Right there by the Logan Street Bridge over White River. That White River is almost up to the top of the bridge. I mean, the bottom of the bridge where the road is, and the Highway 19 just the west of there is completely flooded. My Kroger store that I shop at has got water in the parking lot, can't get into it. And Erica has been providing assistance to the flood victims and things like that. She does her part as much as she can. They serve breakfast every day. All day, every day, all day, and daily specials. They have a senior menu. They're open 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and today they're open 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you love great food, visit Erica's Place in Cicero and Noblesville, and carryouts are available. Let's go into a few select items we want to talk about. Premature interjections. We started this conversation last week, and you want to continue it this week about Erica Kirk, Mike.
Yeah, just a few things. We got talking about her last week, but I wanted to do a little bit more research. There's a number of conspiracies, since Charlie Kirk, her husband, was killed. There's the rumor out there she was involved with it. There's rumors and conspiracies that she was connected to Jeffrey Epstein and recruited people for him. Candace Owen apparently has a lot of conspiracy narratives. The one I kind of believe is that Turning Point USA officials, which Charlie Kirk owned and was the head of, and or Israel was involved in the plot to kill Charlie. And I truly believe that. If you don't know who Charlie was, look at some of his videos. He was really trying to bring people together and opening up conversations, and just like many others throughout the years that tried to do that and have been assassinated, Charlie was assassinated. I don't believe that kid shot that 30-06 from that building. And if he did, I know what a 30-06 does to animals, and Charlie's neck, I don't know if the bullet went through. I think it was something in his microphone, and I truly believe that Israel or somebody else close to Charlie had him killed. But still a lot of evidence out there. There's conspiracies about her dating and being involved with other people, and nothing set in stone. And again, with many of other things that have happened throughout history, we will never know exactly what happened.
No.
Maybe it come out long after our death, but a number of conspiracy theories. You just don't know what to think. Again, they sprinkle a little bit of truth in there and then try to confuse everyone. And I don't think again, I don't think Charlie was shot from that young man on top of that building, but we'll never know for sure. But just wanted to pass that along and just throw it out there, and people can make their own decision on what they
Mike,
believe and think.
I read people pretty well, I think, anyway, but the body languages that she had during his funeral that was televised just had me thinking they look like fake tears. They really did. I mean,
Yeah,
unfortunately, it just, you could almost tell, you can tell when somebody's really grieving really bad, and it just didn't seem like she, and I thought then that something, I thought maybe she was dating someone and, wanted to get rid of him, or, I mean, I don't know, but, uh, I know Turning Point USA is, I don't know if it's multi-billion-dollar nonprofit, but I know it's multi-million-dollar nonprofit,
yeah.
and a lot of money there to be had, and she's still running it. So,
Well, you think of people like Martin Luther King and others that tried to bring people together, and
yeah,
there's more. John F. Kennedy, others that, and all of them are assassinated. And some of the videos that I've seen that they talk about some of his security making these movements or signals. I don't know if I believe that, but one that I caught it that was very interesting is after Charlie was shot or whatever happened to him, one of the security guys jumps over the barrier they had around where Charlie was sitting, picks something up off the ground, and they follow. They have him highlighted, and he exits out the back of the tent area where Charlie was. Plus, since that killing, they've paved over that whole area. They poured cement and basically got rid of any evidence that was there, which I
huh,
find interesting too. So, but
yeah,
who knows?
you
Who
never
knows?
know. Madison idiots. I don't know what this is about, but let's hear about some idiots in Madison.
Well, there was a guy down there named, I think his name was Ruiz, career criminal. I mean, 25 plus arrests and stuff on his spreadsheet. And he came after some police officers with a knife. I think he actually injured a police officer. Well, they shot and killed him. Now, this was, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago. So, of course, Madison, being the liberal idiots that they are, barricaded the area, kept the police out, put up Tent City, were causing a big ruckus. It made national news. And finally, the police went in, I believe it was last week, and cleared everything out. But the mayor down there, last name is Rhodes Conway. Of course, the hyphenated name, which way she leans. And she's been the mayor since 2019. Came out and said, this career criminal, just like what's his name up in Minneapolis, they will make sure that they have a memorial for this career criminal to remember him, even though the police were justified in shooting him because he came after them with a knife. Of course, that's downplayed and whatever. They don't care about that. But yeah, she came out and said they will find a way to memorialize this Ruiz, whatever his name was. So just a bunch of idiots. Bunch of
He,
idiots.
he will be next to Barry Alvarez and Jonathan Taylor over at
Yeah.
Camp Randall, right?
God,
Was he
it's just
illegal? Was he illegal?
no. He was an African American guy, I
Oh,
believe.
okay.
I think. I shouldn't say that. I don't know for sure, but I don't think he was an illegal. But he was a career criminal. I know he had over 25 things on his rap sheet. So
Who are these? What are these guys thinking? I mean, in Carmel, Indiana, which is an affluent area close to us here, police were chasing a kid, I think he was 19 or 20, got out of his car, pulled out a rifle, and started shooting at the police. Now,
yeah.
how stupid can you be?
And you know what? If I don't know if he lived, I don't know that story, but he'd probably go to trial and get off if he found the right judge.
Well, they killed him, but I mean,
Oh, I guess he won't be. He won't be running for Congress then.
No, he won't be running for Congress. It's justified, I guess. But yeah, it's crazy. This now they're talking about woke 2. We had woke 1 and now we're in woke 2, whatever the hell that means. AOC was talking about woke 2 now. I don't know. Some of these people, and down here, this WNBA thing with Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark just keeps going on and on and on. It's just ridiculous about this. Now this Enes Kanter's wanting to play in the WNBA as a
Yeah,
male or something. It's
I hope they
crazy.
do. I hope they
Yeah,
get
I
in.
mean, it's nuts. It's just crazy what's going on. It's crazy.
I can't wait till people like, somebody like Mike Tyson, wants to box females.
Yeah, see, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, see what happens.
Put him in there with Ronda Rousey or whatever the hell her name
Yeah,
was or something.
put them in there with AOC.
Yeah, I had mentioned flooding once before. We have had the worst flooding down here since 1913. The White River crested at 29.4 feet, which is the largest since 1913. Of course, I don't remember that by no means, but just everywhere. Everybody you talk to at the football game yesterday, I mean, just people their basements are flooded, their house is flooded. A girl that works for me in concessions, she said she went down, her basement always gets water, and she looked down her basement and her washing machine was floating in water. There was so much
Jeez.
water in her basement. Rachel tried to go home last night. She said she had to detour about 10 miles out of the way because every road was covered in water. And it's just, and water is kind of like, well, fire destroys everything, but water almost destroys everything too. I mean, you got
Yeah.
to dry it out. Kind of ironic. Our house is 6 years old. The office I'm sitting in now here, the ceiling started leaking, which is crazy. The tape mark along where the drywall's together got wet, and Penny went up in the attic, and it looks like we have this dormer in the front of our house, and it was raining sideways, and the rain came in through there and also underneath our roof vent, which is almost impossible, but it was raining so
Hmm.
hard that she's going to go up there and caulk that today, and hopefully that'll take care of it. Of course, we probably won't ever get rain like we've had,
Yeah.
but it's just amazing all over the whole state of Indiana. And now the rivers up here being flooded the way they are is going down south, and will start flooding southern Indiana as they roll south. But just devastating, just different places, different things, and it's just really sad. I had several parents tell me yesterday, why are we playing this scrimmage? We'd have all these football players out filling sandbags for all these victims of the flood. And I thought, it's not a bad idea. I mean,
Yeah.
we see where we put our priorities. But anyway, we just wish everyone that's maybe impacted by the flood the best of luck. And we're certainly praying for you, and hopefully you and your family are safe. QVC wig demo went bad. What? I didn't see this. Did you? What the hell happened with this?
I didn't see it live, but I watched the video afterwards. So these two ladies, they were on QVC selling products. They were selling wigs. And this one older, attractive lady had a short wig on, and she's talking about it and how she meant to say how you can blow it out. And she said how you can go get a blow job. And she didn't realize it. And the other lady, made some noise or started laughing. And the lady that said it, then I think it hit her and she dropped to the floor. She was so embarrassed. But she was talking about blowing out the hair to make it look nice. And she said, you can go out and get a blow job. And it was just hilarious. And,
So
I don't think
QVC's now selling blowjobs.
I didn't hear if anything happened to her. It was an honest mistake, but it was just hilarious that she said blowjob instead of blowout. So
Been
check it
funny.
out on YouTube. Check it out on
would be
YouTube.
funny. It's funnier
Yeah.
as hell.
And
Oxygen mask.
yeah, I was just looking up a conspiracy theory again. And again, I don't know if I believe all of these. We just throw them out there to get people thinking and they can do their own research. But allegedly, there are people out there that think if your plane is crashing and the oxygen masks come down from above, that these are 100% oxygen. And the reason they have you breathing in 100% oxygen is to calm you down and to put you in a state of mind of, basically euphoric. And even though your plane is going to crash, it just calms the people down instead of actually, helping them breathe. It calms them down in the event that the plane is going to crash. And again, I don't know if I believe that or not. I would like somebody to do a little bit more research and maybe leave a comment or two and let us know what they think.
I would hope that it's true. That would be,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I definitely would want that myself. I mean,
Yeah. No kidding.
it'd be easy to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
So put yourself in a state of mental tranquility. And
Then I'll never forget, years ago, I was flying Braniff Airlines from Indianapolis to Kansas City. Braniff no longer around, but we took off from Indianapolis, and we just kind of got into our ascent, and the whole cabin filled with smoke.
Jeez.
And the cabin, they came down, the oxygen mask came down, and during that time, hell, you wouldn't want to. I mean, but anyway, the freon was leaking in the air conditioning because of the humidity outside. It turned into a gas, and they turned around and went back. But there's certain times when the oxygen mask comes down, maybe you don't want to be in euphoric state.
I don't know why, but on Instagram I follow some of these sites that reenact or show how these planes went down. A lot of them obviously before the 2000,
right,
1990s or whatever. But as much as I fly, I don't know why I watch those things. But there was a Vietnam jet yesterday flying, took off out of Munich, and something happened. I think it hit the ground when it took off. The tail of it hit the ground.
Yeah.
And they had to circle back around, and I watched the video of when it landed, and all these tire pieces and shit was flying off of it when it landed. So they did some major damage when they went to take off. The tail of the plane hit the ground, and you could see dirt and stuff flying, and so they had to circle around and probably get a new aircraft, I'm sure.
I've never been, the only closest thing, I'll never forget, we were flying into Omaha to St. Louis in TWA, and 3 times the guy went down to land and took immediately off again. And it happened 3 straight times, and it scared the shit out of me. But
a lot of wind. Wind.
I think it was crosswinds. Yeah. But that's the only, thank God, knock on wood. And like I said before, turbulence still bothers me. I mean, when we fly now, it just I kind of cringe every time it shakes a little bit. But and I don't fly near as much as I used to, but once in a while you do have to fly, and it's the most economical and easiest way to travel. So
yeah, yep, and it is safe.
Well, the Hong lady got hung in Wisconsin, huh?
Yeah, they're eating their own. I love this because she was leading. She was the candidate. Everyone loved her. She got, I think, 290-some thousand votes, which is crazy because she wanted to cancel Thanksgiving. She hates white people, even though her kids are half white. She's just made these crazy comments. But again, just like with Biden, something happened in Milwaukee where 5 USB drives were lost. She was leading, and as soon as they found these 5 USB drives, the Crowley, I think his name is, the guy running against her, he skyrocketed. He got all the votes and then knocked her out. So they pulled the same shit that they did with Biden against Trump, only they're eating their own, which I love. And I'm glad she's out. I know some Republicans wanted her to win just so they could have all this bullshit against her in the November election, but I'm glad she's out. We don't need someone like her in the state of Wisconsin. So hopefully we're flipping the state red.
Yeah. The great thing about these Democrats don't know what the hell they're doing. They have no clue. They're fighting internally in their own party, and that can only help the general election coming, the midterm election coming up, I think, without question. But it's nuts, the things that are going on. But I want to talk a little bit about email and texting etiquette. I had a situation this week, and I can't mention any names because it might incriminate me, but I received an email from someone saying that a comment had been made. Well, I asked for something to be done, and the person that was supposed to do it sent an email and said that what I'd asked to be done was not what we really needed done. And so I sent an email back and made a comment, and at the end of my sentence, I put 3 exclamation points. Now, that's the way I send emails. Penny says it all the time. My kids, Dad, why do you put, I said, that's just me. I just do it. I don't know why. I just do it. Anyway, his boss sent me an email and just went bananas about how I mistreated her employee and all this stuff. And I just wrote back and said, I'm an old man and my punctuation skills are diminishing. And if I upset anyone, I am sorry. So I don't really know. Penny told me that whenever you use multiple explanation points or you capitalize words, mean you're yelling in your emails and your texts. I don't, I didn't know that. I just do that. If I want to emphasize a word, and maybe it is yelling, but I guess there is an etiquette that you need to use. So I told from now on in, I am only using small caps and no punctuation. I'm not going to do. But it's
Yeah,
amazing. It's amazing how many people you can piss off by just little things like that. It's
yeah,
just crazy.
and
It's
you don't get the gist of, like you and I are talking almost face to face. We can see
yeah,
each other and everything, but when you send a text or an email, you don't know how,
yeah.
the voice of that person. I know a lady here when she would text, again, all caps, everything, all the time. And yeah, people take that as yelling, but that
And
was
I
just
do
the
that
way
a
she.
lot. Sometimes I typing and don't even realize that the caps, is on,
Is
and
on.
the whole thing is text, and it's caps is just ridiculous. But hey, you talked about Anna initially in our first sponsorship today. I found a masseuse, a massage therapist here in Cicero. Uh, she works for Beauty and Body is the name of the company. I'm going to talk a little bit about them today. We may pick them up as an additional sponsor or maybe eliminate. Well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But they're located at 99 Buckeye Street in Cicero, Indiana. Phone number is 913-205-2869. They are in a building that's probably 20 feet long and 15 feet wide, just a little dinky building in downtown, not too far from downtown, a block off of the downtown square. But and her name is Anna P. She's the massage therapist, and she does a great job. She offers deep tissue and hot stone massages. The other lady in there that owns the building, Anna just leases the room from her, but she does lash extensions and aesthetics, whatever that is. I guess that's the makeup type thing. But in the front, they got all these lounge chairs where you lay down. They got these lights over you. I guess you lay underneath, put your lashes, and they do that. But Anna's in the back room, and she does a fantastic job. I've been going to her the last few weeks, trying to get some relief out of my back, and she's done a great job. And I just wanted to bring that up. I told her about our podcast. She said she definitely would listen, so I'm hoping she's going to listen to this and hear that I did talk about her a little bit. But if you live in Cicero or Hamilton County, check out Beauty and Body. They're on the internet. Check out their website and see what services are available. You want to talk a little bit about unbelievable truths, Mike?
Yes. So I, again, follow this site, and I just want to throw these out there. Muammar Gaddafi, remember, he was the leader of Libya years ago and then was assassinated, and people thought he was this terrible, which he probably was, a terrible dictator. But there's other reasons out there why he was assassinated. He was going against the centralized bank and coming up with his own banking system. But I found something else about him, too, is Gaddafi was building the world's largest irrigation project to supply free water to Libya. There would be no debt from the central banking, and NATO destroyed this shortly after. So he built the Great Man-Made River, a $25 billion network of underground pipes supplying fresh water from the Nubian sandstone aquifer. And his intent was to transform the desert into a green agricultural land, providing 70% of Libya's population with clean, free water, and funded entirely by Libyan oil revenues, no debt and no control. And he was avoiding Western bank loans, and Libya retained full sovereign control over its water, and so on and so forth, going against the financial institutions. And in July of 2011, guess what happened? NATO warplanes bombed key infrastructure along with the water pipeline network, justifying it as a targeting of military forces, and immediately they cut off and restricted the water supply to over 70% of Libya's population. And the day after hitting the pipeline network, NATO airstrikes destroyed a concrete pipe factory and the only facility capable of producing the pipes needed for this water. So just another, I believe it. I don't believe anything that our government says anymore, but I would believe they would do something like this just to control the banking and try to control Gaddafi. And then one other thing I wanted to bring up, too, is that dentists allegedly banned a plant and it was called miswak. And miswak is from a single tree, and it's been used for thousands of years. And dentists have banned this because it actually provides the fluoride, the whitening, and the healthy products that teeth need. And it all comes from a plant, from a tree. It helps strengthen teeth and gums, and I've watched a video of this guy brushing his teeth with it. And again, another conspiracy theory, but this Miswak, Miswak, it's been used for thousands of years as a natural toothbrush. But of course, dentists say it's bad for you and have banned it just because it's probably doing what it should be doing. And obviously, if we put that into our system, they would be losing millions and billions of dollars. So, yeah,
Oh my
interesting.
gosh. Speaking of dentists, I lost a filling about a week and a half ago on the right side over here, right along the root, right along my gum line. He had filled it, I remember, and he said, "It's right along your gum line." He said, "May have some trouble with that." Well, it fell out. And so I had a big hole up there and I could feel it with my tongue. So I called the dentist, said, "I need to get this filling filled." Well, uh, the older you get, talking about strengthening your teeth get brittle and weak. And so before I went to the dentist on Thursday, on Wednesday, I, stupid me, I cannot open water bottles. I have no strength in my hand. So I thought, well, what the hell? I'll just put it in my mouth. And well, I twisted the cap and that damn tooth just crumbled. The tooth broke, brittle, just crumbled out. And I finally went to the dentist and he said, "Tom, we're going to have to pull that." He said, "I can put a bridge in there for $2,700, or I can put you some artificial dentures in there." He said, "You got another tooth missing. I can put them together." And he said, "That's $800." And I said, "Well, that's a no brainer." I mean, why would you, you know? And so I guess as an old man, I'm going to have, it's like a, one of those things you wear at night. What the hell is that called?
Like a retainer?
Retainer. Yeah, it's going to be like a
Yeah.
retainer. But I thought it was ironic you brought that up as unbelievable truth. I got another unbelievable truth. I don't know how I was going to put this in here, but I heard something the other day. A guy was celebrating his 80th birthday, and he said, "It's amazing that I have lived more days than I'm going to live going forward." And I thought, that's pretty interesting. So I have lived 27,375 days in my life. And if I live to be 90, I will live 1,125 more days. Now, that puts things in perspective pretty well that
Yeah.
uh, as you get older, things become more and more important as you kind of look at the
Yeah.
rest of your life and things that you spend and how you spend it. And teeth, you know, Charlie horses, restless leg syndrome. Your teeth are brittle and they're cracking. I mean, hell, what the hell?
Yeah.
Your balls
Well,
are dragging the water when you sit on the toilet. I mean, it's just breaking loose.
well, two things with that, Tommy. Two tooth stories. I had a chipped molar back here, and a few months ago, it something happened, some nerves or whatever, and I was in so much pain. I thought I was going to pass out. But anyway, to make a long story short, I went in. The doc had to do some prep work on it, the dentist. Then I had to go to Madison for a root canal. Then I had to come back for a temporary crown. And then I had to go in and get my crown, which I now have, and the tooth is fine. But all of that together cost about $5,000. So you can see why people don't do anything with their teeth. Luckily, I have insurance and it paid for about half of it. But Jill, on her four bottom teeth, has a bridge that Doc Basharian put in over 40 years ago. These bridges are supposed to last like 10 years. And he was such a good dentist. She's had hers for over 40 years. And I'm just waiting for something to break on that thing because that's going to be huge money whenever she has to have that replaced. But, and then, talking about your age and days you've lived, that's why I am doing some things that, I'm kind of to the point in my life too. I'm 61 where it's like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to do what I want to do. And that's, I went out and got a couple of tattoos, and I've gone to some place that you and I have talked about that I thought I would never go to with my wife, and maybe that I'll talk about at some point in the future. And we're going again there in a couple of weeks, and just doing stuff that I want to do and we want to do, and making the memories with family and just living life to its fullest, because you never know. We had another young man up here, 62 years old, just die of cancer, and you just never know when your time is up. So enjoy it and enjoy the family and make the memories and do what you want to do and don't give a shit what people think. So
I failed last time, and I probably should do it right now. A good friend of mine, a high school friend of mine, passed away. Halden Milliken is a good friend of mine, and nicknamed Noah. I don't know why we call him Noah. It's kind of ironic with the floods we're having, but he passed away a couple weeks ago. He had had a stroke about 2 years ago and lost the whole right side of his body. He couldn't move it, his leg and his hand. He couldn't move. Still very alert and stuff. And I went and visited him in the uh, senior home that he was in, and then I heard he passed away, and it was, and so I decided I went and saw him, of course, at the viewing, and it was as I walked in, I just kind of looked around the room, and there's probably 12 people there, and I thought, and it's not important that there was only 12 people there, but then you think about you live your whole life and then you pass away and there's only 12 people that come to, and I don't like to go to those things. A lot of people may be that way that don't want to go, but then I thought, it's kind of sad that there's only 12 people there, and I think 8 of them were family. So
Yeah.
but he was
Well,
a great guy. We had a great time in high school. I kind of lost track of him, and then I rekindled with him in the last couple of years, but sad to see him go. So Halden Milliken, rest in peace, buddy.
yeah, speaking of that, a while back, you were up here for this funeral. I'm not going to mention any names, but they had catering for 125 people and 37 showed up for the meal. A lot of people came and went, before the meal and everything, and I'm sure they had things to do, but there were neighbors of this gentleman that didn't even show up. And there was one person in particular that was mentioned that the gentleman that died had helped this other person start his business, and he didn't even show up for the funeral. And it's like, Jesus, 5 minutes? Couldn't give 5 minutes of your time to come up and give your, and neighbors, good friends. Some neighbors didn't even show up.
Kind of crazy. I
So
mean, I know, like I said, a lot of people don't like to go to those things, but you just should think to show respect that's
send
why
a card.
I have no desire to do that. I'm going to
No.
be cremated. We'll have
Yep.
a celebration of life.
Yep. Yep.
And it'll be somewhere social where it's a social gathering, not anything sad or anything like that.
Right.
Because I don't want to,
Exactly. Nope.
and I don't want and I'm sure Penny and the kids will do it. I don't want those video boards put up and all that crap. I'm sure they'll do it anyway. But, just go to a bar or go somewhere, rent a community hall or something, and just have a celebration of life. That's all I
Yep.
want done. So.
Exactly.
Hey, our next sponsor, Antiques and Botanicals, 11268 Highway 53 in Marble Hill, Georgia, just north of Atlanta in the Smoky Mountains, 30148. The phone number 770-893-1494. I got a couple of customer reviews offline. I thought I might read those. One lady says, if you like plants and haven't been to Antiques and Botanicals on Highway 53, you are missing out. They have a huge inventory, and they are so helpful and friendly. Another lady said, just wanted to let people know about a beautiful store I checked out over the weekend. Antiques and Botanicals, located in Marble Hill. Fantastic place, ran by 3 very friendly and fantastic ladies with terrific service and great inventory to choose from. That's Antiques and Botanicals in Marble Hill, Georgia, ran by, sounds like Barb and 2 of her lady friends, and Jay must just be the figurehead. Jay Grimes must be the figurehead that put this thing together. But check them out. Check them out on the internet. Put Antiques and Botanicals into your website, into your server, and open it up. There's tons of pictures on there. Some beautiful stuff. It's just amazing. And I said that before. Penny and I, we're going to go down there one of these days and just get in the car and go down and spend a couple nights and see what it's all about. But if you're in that area, we got several listeners in the Atlanta area. Go check it out. Just take a weekend and drive up there and check it out. Our last segment we always like to talk about is All in the Family. We love to talk about our families and things that's going on. And school started this week. Actually started a couple weeks ago, but our daughter Rachel started her 12th year teaching this year, which is kind of ironic when you think about it. She's been teaching 12 years, and they moved her from kindergarten to first grade again this year. And I am amazed that the dedication she puts into her job. And I know Jill was a teacher for many, many years and did the same thing. But again, this thing that just shocks me is the amount of money that teachers have to spend out of their own pocket that schools will not do. I mean, she has bought Penny was putting together trays for her last night, trays for each one of her students, and she copies stuff in here on our printer that she only gets so many copies a month for paper at school, which is ridiculous. And it's just nuts. She has to buy, she's in a low income school district and she buys the kids snacks and stuff. And I think last year when Penny did her taxes, it was like $3,100 she spent out of her own pocket that she claimed on her taxes for stuff that she put into her classroom. And it's just, it's one of those unheard of, respected careers that people have, men and women, teaching that does not get enough respect throughout the years, and they never have gotten the money that they deserve. She makes really good money, but it's still not enough. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And I wish her the best of luck this year. Again, she is pregnant and due in November, but she's teaching and working another job, and just I'm so proud of her and the job she does as a teacher. And then our other daughter, I want to call her Angie the Enabler. Seems like that she's always helping everybody else in the family out. She went down and helped Rach set up her classroom, and Anne's just kind of still teaching a little bit, but she's involved in a dental school here, recruiting students coming out of high school that don't want to go to college, that may want to get into the dental assistance field and the things like that. So she's doing a great job and always one to help. She babysits our granddaughter Dacia for Rachel, and is always a terrific part of the family. And I call her the enabler. I want a shout out to my great grandson Thomas, who turned I believe it was 3 today, 3 or 4. I lose 4. He turned 4 today. So happy birthday to Thomas. And one last thing about my family. Ayla, my granddaughter, plays basketball, and it's amazing how early these kids start. And I talk about all the time how much money these families spend. But she is this week and next week has practice on Tuesday and Thursday nights. It's a skills practice that gets her ready for some tryouts that she's got coming up. So this week she had practice on Tuesday, Thursday. Then her team that she played for last year had a practice on Friday night. And then Saturday, Rachel signed her up to go to a skills camp at Noblesville High School. So Ayla played basketball, 10 years old, 4 nights this past week. And I sat down last night thinking, I mean, seriously, this is kind of getting ridiculous. But again, she loves basketball. She wants to play basketball. And if you even want to give them an opportunity to play, you got to do those type of things. I just think it's only for a few weeks, but she was so tired the other day. She just actually sat on the couch and actually just fell asleep. And I thought, here's a 10-year-old that it's good for. It's great exercises. I went and watched the practice. All they do is run up and down the court. I mean, and she's big for her age and had trouble doing that. But it's a little more she does that. But she has a lot of stamina, and when you're 10 years old, you have a lot of stamina. But it's just amazing to watch these kids and grandkids grow up. And like I said earlier, my days are numbered as we go forward. And I want to spend every amount of time that I can with them and watching them play sports and helping them out as much as I can. And I agree with you, Mike. Do those things that you want to do. I don't give a shit what people think about it if I'm going to want to do it. Or I saw somebody the other day about I drink a lot of Diet Coke, and I know you don't drink a lot of soda, but I've always drank Diet Coke my whole life. I used to drink Diet Pepsi, now it's Diet Coke. And a lady at work told me, she said, you got to quit drinking that Diet Coke. And I said, let me tell you something. I'm 75 years old. I've been drinking Diet Coke for 50 years. I sure in the hell I'm not going to start drinking Diet Coke now. So, I mean, it's the harm it's done to my body, it's already done. So it doesn't matter going forward. It's not going. So I think you just get to a point where you just say, basically, fuck you. I'll do whatever I want to do. And, it's those type of things. But again, both of our families mean so much to us. It's important in these times in our lives that we spend as much time as we can with them. And I know you were able to spend a lot of time with your family, all of them together in the past few weeks. And
Yeah.
What's an update on your family? And are you still part of the Murphy family? Have you been shunned or?
No, we're still good to go. But before I get into that, I wanted to say, talking about Rach spending the money teaching, I can remember working at Sandridge, which housed our state's worst sex offenders. And Jill was teaching at the time, and they would spend 10 to 12, maybe 14,000 per year per child at school. Now, this would have been 10 years ago, 10, 11, 12 years ago when I was working at Sand Ridge. They spent at the time per patient over $600,000 per patient.
Crazy.
And people don't bitch about that because they don't see that on their property taxes, but they're still, obviously forking over the money. So we're spending $600,000 plus 10 years ago on sex offenders, and we're spending $10,000 to $12,000 per child, our future. It just makes me
Right.
sick.
It
But
is sickening.
it is sickening. Yeah, but speaking of family, yep, Jacob and family went back a week and a half ago or so. Lincoln starts school tomorrow. He'll be in 3rd grade over at Stuttgart Elementary, and always nervous for that first day of school, but I'm
Yeah.
sure he'll do well. But yesterday, Sam and family came down. Kaylee has a cousin who's very young that's dying, and
Oh, didn't know it.
and so they went to see him. But I was going out to pick up a few groceries, and our 4-year-old granddaughter wanted to go with Papa, so her and I went out and did the grocery shopping, and
I bet that was fun.
had a blast. So she is just incredible.
Is
and
it
helped me carry.
when I take mine? Is it Pappy? Can I have that? Pappy, can I have this? Pappy, can I have that?
Kaylee and Sam have done such incredible things. She totally understands, the word no. The only thing she wanted was a donut. And so I bought her a glazed donut. And, but she is not one of those that wants everything. She is just unbelievable. It's such a good time. Got gas first and then went over to the store, and a lot of questions. And she was very cold inside, wanted to know why it was so cold in there. And it was just a good time. So yeah, but otherwise family's doing well. Jacob's, like I said, back over in Germany, and we'll head over there in November for Link's 9th birthday. We're going to stay for about 3 weeks, and Sam and his family are doing extremely well, and yeah, we try to make as many memories as we can. So when they said they were going to come down Friday, we had no clue till Friday morning they were going to come and stay Friday night. We absolutely, and got the beds, sheets and everything changed, and even those few hours that we got to babysit yesterday, a lot of memories just hanging with the grandkids while Mom and Dad went up to the hospital. So do as much of that as you can, and yeah, doing what you want, Tommy. Yeah, maybe one of these episodes will bring up some of the stuff we've been doing that we don't give a shit what other people think.
Yeah, we haven't talked about sex for a while. We ought to just have one segment where we just talk about nothing but sex. It's
I'll talk about the resort that Jill and I go to. So
hey, you got a trip coming up, don't you? Is that pretty soon?
yeah, we leave Thursday. Well, Jill and I will hit our 50th state. We're actually going with some friends who don't take too much time off, Randy and Kathy, and we're going to head out to Oregon for about 8 days and travel the coast and see some sights, and we've got everything booked. And
yeah,
so
you'll have a
looking
great
forward to
time.
that.
It's a beautiful state. You'll have a great time. I was able to spend some time there, and you'll have a great time.
Yeah, which reminds me, I'll take the equipment, and one of the places along the ocean, wherever we're at next Sunday, I don't know which place we'll be in or what day, whatever day works, we'll do a podcast.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Then when you head to Arizona, do you do that before you go see Link or when you get back?
We're actually going out there in September and October. So we weren't going to go in September, but I was talking, my former boss from the Youth Leadership Training Center, him and I are very close, and he called probably a month ago, and I could tell he was down. Him and his wife are in their early 80s. She's lost one eye to blindness, and they still get around great, but they're kind of going downhill in their health, and they're talking about selling their house. They're actually listing it 1 January. They've got a beautiful home in a 55-plus community in Casa Grande, and they're going to be moving up to Phoenix to a place up there, kind of an assisted living, but still their own apartment type place. So we're going to go see that in September, but he was talking, I could tell he was kind of down, so I looked at our schedule and found a few days, and so Jill and I booked a flight down there on Allegiant, and we're going to go see them for a few days. So, yep. Do that in September.
Yeah, you get to a point where you can't, especially if you're the same age. I'm lucky that Penny's a lot younger than I am, and she's able to do a lot of the stuff that I can't do anymore, but and our son-in-law mows my yard, but we may have to get some goats to mow our yard now, but anyway, it's so high. But yeah, when you're both that age and you get to the point where you really can't do things, it's and some of these assisted livings now have nice apartments or condos you can move into, and I'm sure they take all your money and as much as they can, but sometimes it's a thing that you have to do. But I would think mentally that might wear on your soul a little bit, that you have to do that, and it's too bad. And then
Yep.
you get back. Penny and I's planning on coming up there Labor Day weekend. We're looking forward to that. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully, we can maybe do a podcast up there. I'd love to do that. It'd be fun. And
Yeah.
Penny asked me last night. I think our shirts and hats will be in before the parade. I hope. And so we're looking forward to that, coming up there and seeing some old friends. And we're going to stop and see her mom on the way, who's suffering from dementia. And hopefully, she'll know who we are. But we'll do that on Friday and then head up to Kendall on Saturday and Sunday and then come home on Monday. So I'm looking forward to that. Be fun.
And I wanted to tell you, I should be able to let you know, Sam and Kaylee are scheduled to be with the kids. They're scheduled to stay here that weekend, but things may change. They don't know yet for sure. And if they do cancel, we'll let you guys know, and you can
that'd be
cancel
great.
your reservation.
Okay, that'd be great.
Here.
Yeah. Penny had
Yep.
some Expedia points. I don't know where she got those from. I guess from other reservations we made, but that's how we were able to stay at the Cranberry, like for really, really cheap. And we were going to stay at Rick's place, and she had talked to Deb, and I mean, it's not expensive. It's $100 a night, which isn't that bad, really, when you think about it. But she was able to get these rooms at the Cranberry. So yeah, just let us know. I'm sure she can cancel them. So we will plan on next Sunday. You just let me know what time and all that stuff. Of course, it'll be a 3-hour time difference, so we'll have to take that in consideration. And you'll be in the great state of Oregon, and that'll be fun. We'll be able to do that. Maybe we can see some scenery a little bit while you're up there.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
But enjoy that trip, because it's, like I said, it's a great, Brookings, Oregon is one of my favorite places in the country. It's beautiful down there.
We're going there.
And, it'll be beautiful. And you'll see a lot of tall trees and a lot of beautiful ocean, and you'll have a great time. It'll be fun.
Hey, before we get into our last sponsor, I got one last story. So I worked an auction for our friends on Friday, and the night before is the viewing day. The day before is the viewing day, and then they get the people that want to bid until 6 o'clock that night. And our friend Randy said the auction was at about 7,000 the day prior, and then all of a sudden it started shooting up, skyrocketing. And to make a long story short, Randy and another worker found some comic books in the basement of this house. They were inside of a cardboard typewriter box. And Randy was going to sell the whole lot, but they split them up, not knowing the value of these comic books. And there was one that was showing called The Hulk. And it was a first edition. Nobody knew this. And this gentleman from Windsor, Canada, bid and won the lot. And the comic book he wanted was The Hulk, and he paid $11,000 for it. And there were other comic books in this lot that are probably worth some money, not that much. But we were talking with him when he showed up. He said after the bidding was done and he found out that he had won, him and his mom jumped in their car and drove 8 hours from Windsor, Canada to pick up this lot of comic books. And I was talking to Mom. She was in tears, and she said they were both shaking all the way over. And so we got to talking to this young man. He owns a comic book store along with a partner up in over in Windsor. And Jill came out and asked him, so if I may ask, she said, what will you sell this comic book for? And he said there were only 6 made because the Hulk is in gray. I've got a picture of it. And there was something with the ink. So after the 6th edition, time that was made, they turned the Hulk to green. So these gray comic book covers with the Hulk on it are extremely rare. And I did confirm that. I did some research. He said, I will not sell that comic book for less than $40,000. And it could go into the hundreds of thousands of dollars because there's only 6 of them ever. And I had goosebumps when this kid was telling, and he knows he's not a bullshitter. This is his business. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. And when he said he would not take less than 40,000, it's like, holy shit. So quite a story. It was interesting. I've never worked an auction with something that valuable on it. There was when we got there that day, they had the comic books kind of stashed underneath this fireplace, and Jill was drinking a bottle of water, and she set the water on a ledge above this lot of comic books. And I said, Jill, please move that water. I don't want that spilling on that lot.
Oh my God. Could you imagine it?
But yeah, at least 40 grand, probably more, that he'll make off that.
Isn't that interesting? Because I remember when they did our auction, they would find stuff and they just put everything in a box. They'd sell the box for $10, $12. Can you imagine if you sold that box of comic books for $100?
my God. Yeah, you never know. You never know.
Now, did
But
he like on the auction? Did he take a picture of every comic book that was in there? Was that on so the guy knew what was in there, or
that's a great question. I'd have to ask Randy to show me the picture because, like I told Jill, what if that Hulk was buried 3, 4, 5, 10 deep,
yeah, that's what I'm
and
saying. Yeah,
maybe he only saw he had to have seen that it was gray. So maybe just by happen chance that
it
that
was on top. Could
comic
have been
book's
on
on
top.
top. But I want to ask Randy. That's a great question. I want to ask him which one's on because that could, like you said, that could have been buried somewhere, and then he bought it
Yeah,
for $10 or whatever, and find out you got a tens of thousands of dollars
right,
worth of comic
right.
books in there. But
It's
yeah,
kind of like trading cards. I mean, you got to find somebody that's willing to pay that much money
yeah,
for it, and
yep,
he definitely knows the business. It sounds like so,
yeah,
and he's probably knows collectors that's willing to pay that kind of money.
yep, yep. He said they were going to literally drive that comic book to Florida to have it graded, and then he was going to hang on to it for a while and then sell it. But again, not less than 40 grand. So,
I mean, I don't think
may,
if I was a billionaire, I don't think I'd buy a comic book and frame it and put it on the wall. But some people certainly would do things like that. You know, it's
yeah, yeah.
especially if you're a Hulkamaniac act. You know, it's you
But
might want
I
to do
was
that.
good. I was researching some of these old comic books and Superman and the Archie comics. I swear I know we had
But yeah, me too.
something like
Well, I used to
I'm
get
sure
2 or 3 every week. You know, you'd go,
yeah,
you'd buy
and
them
they
for a
probably went
dime
right
or
in the
something.
trash.
Yeah, you'd buy
Yeah,
them for a dime or something, and you'd read them once, and I don't know, I'd throw them away, or I don't
yeah.
know. You just
We
never
could have been
know.
millionaires. Could have
Yeah,
been millionaires. Yep.
so many times.
So our last sponsor, Tommy, Trailview Meats, located a couple of miles outside of Elroy, Cody Vossen, farm raised beef by the whole, half quarter, or by the pound. We always buy Cody's ground beef in 1 and 2 pound packages at $6 a pound. He's got steaks, ribeyes, porterhouses, T-bones, sirloins, New York strips, tenderloins, flanks, and skirts. We've had his chuck roasts and prime rib roasts. So we've had the chuck roasts, I should say, and they're absolutely fantastic. But if you're looking for homegrown, farm raised beef, by the whole, half quarter, or by the pound, contact Cody Vossen and Trailview Meats or get a hold of Tom or me, and we can put you in touch with Cody, and you can order some meat through him, and you get the great stuff, not the store stuff off the floor. So,
Hey,
Trailview,
I just had a thought. Probably too late to even think about it now, but we should have put a canopy up at the Labor Day weekend celebration, and we could have had a grill there and grilled Cody's hamburgers and did our podcast there and selling Trailview meat. My cousin John, he belongs to the Kiwanis Club of Pendleton. Years ago, they started selling frozen hamburger patties that they buy from Gordon Food Service. All they do is grill them, put them on a bun with cheese, and they call them K-burgers. And they just did a festival where they sold 36,000 of them by calling them K-burgers. I mean, can you imagine? We could do hamburgers and sell them and give Cody some publicity. And
yeah,
I mean, I don't know that he wants that, but that's. I
we'd
mean,
probably
that.
make some huge dollars. We were just downtown Thursday night. They have concerts on the
Yeah,
street, on whatever they call it, and they had a band called Cherry Pie, which is excellent. We've seen them before, and there was over 2,000 people. They shut down all of Toma, and there was a place underneath the tent, or maybe they had a trailer, and they were selling hamburgers for $10 a hamburger. And people were lined up as far. Yeah, I mean, I had to wait probably 20 minutes to get 2 hamburgers, and they were outstanding. All they were was this little ball. They smashed it down, grilled them up, put the bun on the grill, put a hunk of cheese on it, and they were selling them like hotcakes. Yeah, we should do that. Maybe next year we'll do that.
he does. He dips it. He dips them in au jus. That's the only thing he does differently, and then sells them. And yeah,
Sounds good.
it's too late to do that now, but it's something that we might want to think about if Cody's willing to
Yeah,
do that.
yeah.
Uh, but anyway, looking forward to coming up. You guys have a great trip out to Oregon, and we'll try to do a podcast next Sunday.
Sounds good. Sounds
All
good.
right,
Have a
buddy.
great week. Stay
All
dry,
right.
Tommy.
All
All
right.
right. Love you.
Take care, buddy. Love you. Take care.
Yep. Bye bye.